And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So hit subscribe, watch, comment. Please keep the comments coming and share with your family and friends, because the insanity every single day, every day you wake up, there's more chaos. Well, yesterday, Trump held another, the sixth, by the way, cabinet meeting, which consisted of, I would describe it as distractions, lies, and nonsense. And starting off strong, Trump seemed appalled, literally appalled, that a reporter was asking him about Jeffrey Epstein. Trump then continued to talk about the 2020 election. But it's okay to talk about the 2020 election, but you can't ask him questions about Epstein, especially after the DOJ changed their stance on the so-called client list. Play the clip.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
I mean, that's why this thing is so unusual. Normally, when you have a cabinet meeting, you don't have the press asking the questions. You basically engage in your cabinet meeting, and then if you want to share some info with the press, you do. Meanwhile, AG Pam Bondi stepped in. Boy, was that a bad move, trying to help Trump out. But she just ended up rambling about absolutely nothing. Play the clip.
Back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Wow. Now, I want to be clear. I used to have a time-lapse system in my business years ago. We never had a minute missing ever, right? Every 30 days it would redo itself, assuming you didn't need to keep the video. But here, with this system, none of this makes any sense at all. And all this is doing is just promoting more questions to be asked. Now, like I said, Trump claims it's absurd for people to still be talking about Epstein, but he'd rather be talking about, something like crown molding. Even Fox News was done with this nonsense as they cut coverage during the presser. Play the clip.
It was nothing. We also painted the room a nice color, beige color, and it's been really something. The only question is, will I gold leaf the corners? You could maybe tell me my cabinet could take a vote. You see the top line moldings, and the only question is, do you gold leaf it? Because you can't paint it. If you paint it, it won't look good, because they've never found a paint that looks like gold. You see that in the Oval Office.
All right, we're about half past the hour here. This is America Reports. We have been watching this cabinet meeting happening live as Caroline Levitt.
I mean, if Marco Rubio's face and expression doesn't tell it all, I really don't know what ever will. Now, as I've been saying, Trump seems, unfortunately, to be removed even from conversations that should be taking place with him. His people, his own people that he entrusted, most of whom are incompetent, they're not even briefing him in the necessary way. They're actually making him look foolish. A reporter goes on and asks Trump about Ukraine, asking the international court to get involved in the war. Trump turns to Pete Hegseth to ask what he knows about it. Hegseth turns around and says, "Ask John." Play the clip.
On Ukraine, the Ukrainians have asked the international court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the fight. Germany and Germany and the Netherlands have had intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? And would you agree that that's a case report?
Well, ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John.
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented in its use, it's illegal. It's against all international laws of armed conflict and treaties. And obviously I can't share in this room with this audience the intelligence that I can share with you privately, but obviously you're not going to stand or allow for any violations of international law by anyone.
That's right. Thank you.
I mean, again, how is it possible that the press is asking questions like this that nobody wants to give an answer to? And the president looked completely blindsided. But if you think that blindsided the president, and this is one that's going to come back to haunt Hegseth. CNN's Caitlin Collins, she asked Trump about a pause in weapons shipments to Ukraine. Trump says he doesn't know who paused it. Play the clip.
Mr. President, you have sent more weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We want to put defensive weapons because Putin is not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
I think that's a question for the Pentagon.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. First of all, let's all agree that what Trump just said there is absolutely correct. That Putin is not treating the Ukrainians correctly, humanely. They're killing them with these drones and these missiles. So we're supposed to be sending them counter missiles. Unfortunately, somebody, and Trump had no idea that it was the guy sitting directly to his left. Sitting right to his left, Pete Hegseth, is the one who called the pause on the missiles. Boy, I don't want to be Pete Hegseth today or tomorrow or ever, because the more that this thing comes out in the news, the more that Trump is going to pound on him. But Trump didn't seem to realize, and finally acknowledged that Putin is actually playing him. Play that clip.
I don't know. We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin. For you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on Russia. Do you want him to move
I'm
that
looking
down?
at it. Yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passing and passed a very, very tough sanctions bill. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Everything that Putin is feeding to Trump is pure, unadulterated bullshit. But lies continued to spread when Trump started talking about China and their wind farms. I want to give you a straight up fact, and you could Google it yourself because facts matter. The fact is that China produces almost 4 times the amount of wind power than we do. Play the clip.
To what they'll be in about a year from now, but we're setting records. And wind is a very expensive form of energy. It's very bad for your beautiful surroundings, the plains and the valleys, and the birds are dying all over the place. You know, the whole thing is a disaster. They're almost exclusively made in China. Not that I have anything against China, because I don't have a great relationship with President Xi, but I asked him, how many wind farms do you have? He makes them, but they don't have a lot of wind farms, I'll tell you, very, very few. And wind is tremendously expensive and is very ugly. And if you own a house that's inside of a windmill, your house is worth less than half. And you hear noises. And interestingly, in New England, you probably read where for 50 years, they had 2 wells washed up, 50 years. And last summer, they had 14 washed up. Now, I'm not saying that's the wind farm that was built, but maybe it is, right? Probably is. It's tremendously expensive. And it can only be done with subsidy. I know a man that's in that business, and one of the biggest in the world actually runs a company that builds these stupid windmills. And he said, I hate the business because it's the only energy where you need subsidy. He said, energy shouldn't need subsidy. You should make money with energy. So wind. The other one is the solar, those big solar fields. They're taking our farmland. Our farmers are like mortified by it. They hate it. It's very, very inefficient and very ugly too. Probably better than.
Yeah. So let me tell you, it's the visual that really bothers Trump the most. And yeah, he's, by the way, not wrong that you do need subsidies. These things are enormously expensive. And when they break down, it's almost impossible to fix them. It's also impossible to get rid of them. They're like bigger than skyscrapers, but it's the visual that bothers him. I remember we had this issue in Scotland. He was adamant that the secretary at the time, I believe his name was Salmon from Scotland, not put up the windmills in the water by his Aberdeen golf course, because he said that it would make the view from his golf course look ugly. No, it's true. Reporter then also asked Trump about the jobs report, showing that manufacturing lost 7,000 plus jobs. Well, question that somebody should have asked, what happened to all the plants that were supposedly being built? Play the clip.
Mr. President, in the last jobs report, the manufacturing jobs actually lost 7,000 jobs. When will the investments that you've been talking about have an effect on
they're building the plants now. About 7 have started. We're going to have hundreds started within a short period of time.
Yeah, sure. So how about the next follow-up question? Ask who is building these plants, which companies, and where. Let us take a look so that we can look at, building records, construction reports. Let's just go out to the site and check it out just to validate the 7 allegedly already in the process of being built. Any of you happen to know where these sites are? DM me. Let me know. Finally, a reporter asks Trump what he thought of Elon's new America Party. Play that clip.
Well, this is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has not been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create a third political party. Are you worried about the impact that could have?
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me.
Yeah. Well, again, since you can't run again in 2028, well, it's going to end up crushing potentially the Republican Party, because that's who Elon is already threatening to go against. That's why I turn around and I say, please subscribe. The chaos, it's not unilateral in one area. It is so multifaceted that we need to break this down every single day. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.